What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. First off, I want to wish happy holidays to everybody who is going to watch this video and everybody who's been watching the channel since, I think it's been almost 2 years now, maybe a year, somewhere around there. But it's been a while. It's been a super busy season for me. Obviously, you know, during that Black Friday, like Christmas time, there's a lot of sales. So it's just me doing this. So it hasn't been much videos happening because I've been having to focus on a lot of that. But this is the video I've been wanting to put out. We did purchase some different pads. These pads are actually made by 3D, which is the same company that makes the compound and the finishing polish that I use now. I actually find their products to be the best. For the finishing polish, I use the ACA 520. I'll put the links in the description like always. I love this because it has no fillers, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You really don't want any of the fillers that sometimes you can find on automotive products when it comes to detailing, like paint and things like that. The fillers are actually bad when it comes to resurfacing discs. So anytime you can find a product that doesn't have fillers in it, it's a good thing. And I'm also using the AAT 501 for the cutting compound. So I bought these quite a while ago, to be honest. These are not cheap. I will say that, let me see how much is in here. 32 ounces. This probably cost around $40 to $50 a bottle. But it's been worth its weight in gold. It's been doing great. You'll actually see, like, they do so well that they actually make the JFJ pads, like, work really good. But we're going to do some JFJ versus these 3D pads. And just like the finishing polish and the cutting compound, these pads are not cheap. These are probably the most expensive pads I've purchased. I want to say I spent roughly, let's see, well, actually recoup my Amazon here really quickly. I actually forgot how much they are, but they are ridiculously expensive. I want to say there's almost like 30 bucks a pad or something crazy. Yep, both pads are 30 bucks a piece. 30 bucks. Yeah. So for one, if you're wondering, for one pad, they're $30 a piece. So for this little set, it was 60 bucks. These pads from JFJ run you about 8 bucks a piece, anywhere between like the $7 to $8 range. So it's up to you. To be honest, using this product with these pads, I'm able to get really good results. If you're somebody just selling used disc, or you're doing resurfacing, maybe even refurbished, you can get away with JFJ because it's going to bring it to about 90% using that polish. I mean, using this product with them as well. The JFJ product really doesn't work that well, but this with these pads, you can make it work. Now, if you use these pads, it just gets you that extra step of quality. Like if you really want that showroom finish, that mirror finish shine on the back of the discs, that's what these pads are going to get you. Right now, we're going to do 3 games apiece for each. These 3 for the 3D pads, these 3 for the JFJ pads. And you can just kind of look at them yourself. I'm gonna give you a close-up on each one, some before and afters, and you can see for yourself, you know, which one you think is worth the investment. If you're just doing resale, to be honest, it's probably best to use this product with these pads. But if you're somebody who really wants to get into like a high level of refurbishment, then you might want to look into some pads like this, just for that, like almost, basically they look brand new. So if that's what you're looking for, if that's the level you're selling at, make sure you're also pricing accordingly. If that's what you're selling at, then you might want to look at over here. But we're just going to do the comparison, see what we get. Some of these discs, I will tell you, are really rough. Some will be ones that I probably would soft sand first and then come into a buff and polish. But we're just going to see what the pads can do and just see what happens. So first, we're going to start with our JFJ pads. First up, ATV Off-Road Fury 2. Let's see, where is my other phone so we can get you guys a close-up here. Let's see. But as you can see, the disc is pretty rough. But, all right, sit that up there. I'm not going to go through too much of my process. I have a few videos up already about like how I do this stuff, so I kind of just really want to go through these and show just the results of using the compound with the pads. Come on, go on there. There we go. Okay, disc is up there. Going boom, boom, boom. Cup of water, cutting pad, about that. And we'll do a minute. All right. That. Take out our buffing pad, pull our polishing pad, grab our finishing polish. Boom. Water. 2 minutes. All right, 2 minutes up. If you're wondering, yes, I did spill my drink on myself during one of the cuts. Whoa, this is actually pretty cool. My buddy actually made these coasters for me, and one of them was the business logo. So just thought those was pretty nice. Got that as a Christmas gift. Let's see, we'll take that off. All right. So we'll hit that with some spray. That just helps lift up the product. I use one just for get the majority of that off. And then I come in with a lot softer microfiber towel to kind of finish it off. Let's see. Boop. Trying to get a lot of that off. I'll try to make sure I wipe it good, because sometimes if you don't wipe it that good, you can actually have like white marks in there that look like scratches, but they're not. They're just white marks. All right. That should be pretty good. Okay, bring you guys in again. And there you go. So you can see what it looks like now. There's definitely still some like little fine scratches in there. But, you know, before and after, I mean, this obviously looks a ton better. It's just not like perfection. Like I said, if you're a perfectionist, if you're somebody who's looking for a mirror finish, this is not going to be the combo for you. The JFJ pad shifts normally do not give you that finish, even though this disc was in horrible shape starting, and this disc is in way better shape now. Easily you could sell a disc like this under good condition, possibly even very good condition. You know, that's at least, I would say, roughly 90% of what it was brand new, and there's no reason why that disc wouldn't work. So it's just like I said, always making sure you keep in mind either the level or the listings you're selling against. You don't want to overperform the listing, and normally when I say that, people kind of hate it because they feel like, oh, you know, you're skimping people or anything like that. It's not that. It's just making sure that you're compensated for the work you're putting in. And the reason I say that is because if you're selling on a used listing where the quality is low and you're offering higher quality stuff, you're going to be priced against people not putting in the time and effort and paying for the supplies and things needed to perform that quality of product. You're going to be priced against them. You're going to always lose that price battle, and you're probably going to get to the point where you're not cutting enough margin to actually make it make sense. So that's kind of what I mean by you want to make sure that for the level of effort you're putting in and how much investment you're putting in from like a supplies and product perspective, that you are selling against the correct listings so that, you know, you're getting what you should get for the product you're providing, if that makes sense. Okay. So this one is what? A Rainbow 6-3 for the PS2. You can see here that this one is not as in bad shape as ATV Off-Road Fury 2 was. This one does have a lot of like, it's a lot of like really like fine scratches in it. You know, not really swirls, but you can definitely see the scratches there. This could be something, you know, honestly, it could be something from a different resurfacer. Sometimes, you know, those can put those kind of scratches in a game. Or it could just be just from wear and tear, from people just not storing the game correctly, maybe not putting it back in the disc. I mean, not putting it back in the case. You know, you never know. So, but I'm going to give it the old go and see what we get. 1 minute. All right, minute up. Boom. Take that out. Put our polish pad in. Grab our finishing polish. Boom. A little bit of water. 2 minutes. All right, there's 2 minutes. Okay, take that off. Oops. Same thing. Spray. Rag. Oops. Get the majority of that off. Grab our soft towel and finish it out. I like to get a nice, good, soft microfiber towel for the finish. Sometimes you can have a microfiber towel and you think it's really good, but it can actually leave little scratches in there when you get to like this final part right here. But this one has been a very good one. It's actually a car drying towel, to be honest. It's like one of those sham things or something. I don't know, but it does a good job. Where's phone? I'll show you guys the up close afterwards. And then you guys can see the before and after. Like right there, like that's not scratching or anything. That's just, I just didn't wipe that part. But you can see the before and after, like, it's definitely a lot better. There is still some of that faint scratching in there, but it's way better than what it started at. And that's what I mean. Like, you're not going to get a picture perfect finish with these, but you're going to get good quality to very good quality results with this. So again, it just all depends on how you know, how picky you are with it, or again, what level you're selling at. So we're gonna save Jak and Daxter there. We're actually gonna grab one of these. We're gonna start over here, and on the last games, Jak and Daxter and that second copy of Grand Theft Auto 2, Grand Theft Auto 3 I have there, I'm gonna show you that you can actually use these in conjunction. So like I said, each one of these pads are 30 bucks. That's 60 bucks right there. This pad, $6 to $8. You can actually get away with using the JFJ buffing pad and then finish it off with a 3D professional polishing pad and get really great results as well. So I'm going to show you that on the last one to just show, you know, that it can be done. So you could, you know, maybe get away with spending 40 bucks instead of 60. The buffing pads are not really the issue with the Easy Pro Plus. The JFJ, I feel like the polishing pads just are not up to par. So, but the buffing pads you can get away with. Either way, let's go ahead and grab Dance Factory right here. And this is one of the famous, well, I don't know what you call them, purple backs, blue backs. I don't know. People just don't like resurfacing these, me included. But anyway, here we go right here. You can see this one has seen better days. We got some pretty good scratching over there. I want to say there was a nick in here. Oh, like right there. You can see it. Let's see if I can kind of zoom in a little bit. You can see that nick right there. I don't think that's going to come out. I do believe, like, this is one of the games I probably would have soft sanded, mostly because of that little nick right there. Sometimes you see stuff like that, and I can kind of catch it with my fingernail. It's probably better off being sanded first. But we're gonna give it a go with the with our light. This is like a buffing pad, and it's technically a polish pad. It's like a buff polish pad all in one. And then with our finishing pad, we're just gonna see what happens. But if, like I said, if I was doing this for real, this would definitely be a sand and then come through buffing and then polishing. So go ahead, let's take out our JFJ polish pad. We will put in our buffing pad there. Now, if you're wondering, these JFJ, I mean these 3D pads, I'm going to go ahead and do that for a minute. You can tell it operates the exact same. One thing is these pads are slightly bigger. You can kind of see that there. I would say maybe about a ½ inch bigger than the JFJ pads. You might get a slight bit of rubbing on the column where the safety switch is here that tells the JFJ that the lid is closed. So it's like a little column that sits out here. You might get some slight rubbing there. I've never had an issue with it. In all honesty, it normally just kind of like wears away a little groove in that column, just from the friction, and then you're perfectly fine. Uh, it doesn't cause any premature wear on the sides of the pad, but it does. I guess the plastic that that column is made out of is very weak, so it just doesn't hold up. So never had an issue with the pad falling apart or anything like that. But if you notice that, that's why it's happening. But again, never had any issues with it. Just wanted to speak to it because that's going to happen and people's going to have questions. So that's a minute. We'll take out our polish pad. You can see there, like, got some on the side. That's because I need to clean this thing. It's been getting ran pretty heavily. As I said, I've been quite busy, you know, especially in the month of December. So, but we'll put that there. We'll hit it with a little bit more water. Finish it off with our ACA polish. Boom. And we'll give it 2 minutes. All right. Oh, because it's like really touching the side of that. I put it in there a little off. Oh, dang it. Come here. Oh, man, that thing. Oh. There we go. Man, I got to replace my, dang, it got on the side of that too. I got to replace my little Velcro sticky thing down here because it was, trying to come up. It's weird. It only comes up with other pads. It doesn't never come up with the JFJ pads. But that, get our pad, wipe off the majority of the residue here. Make sure nothing's on there. There. Start going to work. Cleaning this off. Man, I feel like every time I do it, it's like another area that I need to wipe off. All right. Okay. Yeah, still got some little pad parts up there. All right, that should be good enough. Yep, looking at this one, it's definitely one I would have wanted to sand first. But you can see here the before and after. Still have like some nicks and some scratches. That one nick, which is right there, is definitely still there, which I knew it was going to be because I could catch it with my finger. But based on the before and after, I mean, you can see that, you know, the pads do an amazing job. Again, this was a disc that needed to be sanded first. But if you wanted to skip that, you could, and you could get a, you know, a very good finish on the back of these discs. And in all honesty, if you are someone who deals with this type of stuff, you know that these purple bag, blue bag discs are basically the devil when it comes to the resurfacing world. No one likes fooling with these. I think somehow a piece of dust got on there. I think the only thing worse than the blue back PS2 games are probably the black back PS1 games. So for whatever reason, Sony really just really had a good little run there with the PS1 and PS2 games that, for whatever reason, just are a pain to resurface. So next we're gonna get into these ones. All right, so get back to Grand Theft Auto 3 here. Let's see. This one is pretty swirled up. Let's look at it. Bring guys in. Yeah, this one, you can tell by all the swirl marks in it that this has probably been resurfaced or attempted at it anyway. This is definitely one that we would normally sand. You could try to buff it out. Sometimes buffing it and then polishing it doesn't always get these swirls out. But what I want to do for this one is I actually kind of want to show, like I said, I said I was gonna wait for like the last disc, which I think is Jack and this other copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, to show like the combo of using the JFJ buffing pad with the 3D professional finishing pad over here. But I actually want to go ahead and do it for this one, and then maybe on these last two right here that are really bad, maybe we can go through the whole sanding process, and that's when I kind of brought these into play, just to show you a full sand to polish for the JFJ side of the house, and which would be the 3D side of the house here, and show that, you know, at the end result you can get a way better finish using the 3D pad. Like, you're going to get that mirror finish, even though you will get, say, if this pad was say a 10 out of 10 finish, I would say that the JFJ is going to give you a strong 8.5 to a 9. So again, the price discrepancy is a huge one, because it's $30 per pad over here, where you're dealing with about $7 to $8 a pad over here. So is that extra one, maybe 1.5 on the scale worth, you know, a 300 to 350% price increase on the product? You know, maybe. That's for you to decide. So it just all depends on, you know, on how particular you are about your finishes. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one up here. Let's see, tie that down. Where is my buffing pad? Here we go. Sit on there like so. A couple sprays of water. Grab my 5 right here. Boom. Bring it down and do that for 1 minute. Let's see. I got my rag here. Just had to make sure I had my rag. But yeah, I've been getting really good results using the JFJ buffing pad and the polishing pad over here with 3D. And like I said, it cuts down on the cost for you. So instead of going in for $60, you can go in for around $38 to $40. That could be something you're interested in if you really want that good final polish. Not sure how this one's going to turn out. Again, when the disc has those resurfacer swirls in them, I do like to go ahead and at least start with the soft sand pad, and then buff and then polish. Normally you get better results that way, but there are times you can get away with just a buff and a polish. Obviously, like I always said, you kind of want to start with the least aggressive treatment first. So if you think you can get away without sanding, I would always suggest trying the buff and polish first. And then if it doesn't come out the way you want, then you can go back, hit the sand, buff, and polish. You really don't want to sand unless you have to, as that's going to be, you know, the most aggressive treatment towards the disc, and you're really going to be taking some of that material off the disc to get the finish you're looking for. There's only so many times you can take the disc to the sanding process before you take away too much and the disc stops working. So let's get this residual stuff off. Oops, almost dropped my rag there. Go ahead, wipe this down. There we go. Okay, and I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like after the buff stage. I know you're probably wondering, like, why is he wiping it down? He normally never does that, but this one's a little different. I just kind of want to show you what it looks like. So you can see the JFJ the buffing pad did a pretty good job. You know, obviously this is just a buff, so you're not going to get that good finish polish because that's not a polishing pad. But you can see there's still a little bit of light swirlies in there and stuff. A little bit of those, I would say they're definitely probably from a past resurface attempt because they're so circular. They're still lying in the disc. So now what we want to do is we're going to take it and bring in our 3D polish and then see if we can't get a better result. Maybe hopefully get those out. Of course, we're going to be going at this one for 2 minutes on the polish cycle. We'll sit that there. Let's see where it is. There it is, right there. Boom. Put that in. A couple sprays of water. I like using the water because it keeps the heat down. There we go. Put that there, down, and 2 minutes. Like I said, you can hear it. It's running really smooth. Actually doesn't sound much different than using JFJ pads, and that's kind of what you're looking for. If you ever put a pad in here and you're getting like some just violent shaking, you know, you might want to go ahead and stop it because you probably have an imbalance somewhere, or something is off, and you don't want to run it like that because one, you can just damage the machine. Two, you're going to damage your disc because if it's wobbling like that, it's probably having an uneven, like it's not touching the disc properly. Basically, it's having an uneven surface touch. I don't even know what to call it, but you kind of see what I mean. Like it's not going to be uniform on the disc, which means you're either going to miss spots or you're going to overwork spots on the disc, and you don't want that. Also, you run the risk of warping your disc plate, the plate you're actually sticking the disc itself onto. Once that warps and it starts, you know, kind of getting that wobble to it, that's going to affect how much of the pad is touching the disc at a time when it's going around. And you're going to start getting parts of your disc that's not being touched by the pad properly. And you're going to get uneven results, or you're just going to get bad results. Or you might even start getting swirls in your disc. So just want to make sure that you're listening to the machine while it's running, doing these other pads, to make sure that it sounds correct, that it sounds like it's running smooth. You know, it's just like a vehicle. You start your car and all of a sudden it has a rumble to it. It sounds like every time you give it gas, it's, you know, it got the stutter, got a hesitation in it. You might not want to keep driving that car, but clearly something is amiss in it. Same thing with this machine. If it's rumbling, if it doesn't sound smooth and uniform, you might want to stop using that pad, or at least start to investigate what's going on with the machine. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully that was a good 2 minutes of wisdom, or pretty close. Oh, 2 minutes. All right. So take that out. Take that off my disc. Rip off some of that. Oops. Trying to make sure I get all the white marks off of it, because like, again, sometimes you can look at it and be like, oh, it has a smudge there or a scratch there, and it's really not. It's just sometimes you wipe one area and you put a smudge in the other. But here, we can look at this. Here's the after. So you can tell, based on just doing a buff and then a polish, getting pretty good results, especially considering how bad and swirled the disc was at first. Again, if you really wanted to get that good finish, again, that would be something like, I would say, at least do a soft sand. Soft sand would have probably got a lot more of those little marks out of it than the buff did. But again, you're selling this disc as used, or you're selling it like in good condition, not a like new condition. You know, you can get away with this because this is still a good condition disc after the resurface. So again, you always want to make sure that you are selling the disc appropriate, or you're making sure that the quality you're providing matches up with the listing quality you're selling under. It sounds bad, like I said earlier, you know, because people say you always want to give the best possible product, but you also want to make sure that you're selling it correctly as well, or else, in all honesty, you're not going to be able to keep providing that level of service at such a low price point, competing with people who are not giving the same level of service. Especially dealing with Amazon and Walmart, price is mostly king. Especially on Walmart, price is king. So it doesn't matter how many stars you have. It doesn't matter how many great reviews you get telling how great your product is, how great your service is. If someone is 50 cents lower than you with 2 stars and you have 5 stars, they're going to get the buy box on Walmart. That's just the way it is. So that's why I said, make sure you're selling under the correct listings, under the correct quality to match up with the quality product you are providing. So always keep that in mind as a reseller. Okay, so up next is Jack and Dexter. You see here, this disc is in really bad shape. Bring you guys in. As you can see, this one is real bad. We have some, almost like a perfect circle down here, like a semicircle. So I'm not sure what's going on, but this disc has seen many better days than this one. We have some straight scratches like right over there. So this one's pretty rough. This one we're actually going to take through the entire process, and we're going to do the coarse sand, soft sand to the JFJ buffing pad, and then we're going to do the JFJ polishing pad. And then when we come over here to this other copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, we're going to do coarse, soft, buffing pad with 3D and polish pad with 3D. Just to kind of show you guys the difference between the two. So, yeah, this one always gets me because it's just a little bit bigger and I still need to clean out this machine so it will stop grabbing that stuff off the side. But, all right, let's go ahead and get this situated and we will start with the coarse sand. All right, first thing up is our coarse. Now the only thing different doing the sanding that changes from doing the buffing and the polishing is with the sanding cycles. Sorry, something was on the disc. And it fell down on the coarse pad. Okay, whatever. But with the sanding cycles, I like to spray the actual sandpaper with the water rather than the disc. So that's the only difference. Now, what does it actually do? I don't know. That's just my personal preference. So coarse, we're going to do 10 seconds. Coarse, I like to stick to 10. Sometimes I might do 2 cycles at the 10. Sometimes I might do 2 cycles of the 10-second run, but mostly I try to stick to 1. Yep, that's pretty good. Basically, what you're looking for is you want to make sure that like the scratches you saw on the disc basically are not there. That's what you're looking for. We do have like a little teeny scratch right there. So I might go ahead and actually hit that one more time on the course, just for another 10 seconds. But you want to be very careful with these course runs because this is about, I believe the course is 600 to 800. I want to say 600 grit. So it's really grabbing a lot of material off the disc. So you don't want to keep running that cycle if you can get away with it. So what we want to do is we want to take this off. Now, one of the major differences is when you're sanding, you want to make sure, I'm actually looking for a thing that just have to be this for now. But what you want to do is you want to just brush off the disc. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You just want to make sure you're getting that material that the sandpaper is taking off. Some of it is going to stay on the underside of the disc. You don't want that going onto the soft sand portion because that little small debris, sometimes it's even hard to see it with the eye, will cause damage to the disc when the next cycles are running, either the soft sand, the buff, or the polish stage. Those materials almost turn into like little blades, and it can really mess with the finish of your disc. So just want to make sure that you keep that in mind. So soft sand, we're going to do a 20-second cycle. Normally, once you get a good course cycle going, whether it's just one 10-second run, maybe 2 10-second runs, one soft sand for 20 seconds usually is pretty good because all you're doing really is trying to remove the scratches that the coarse pad put in it. So we're just kind of walking up step by step to bring it up to where we want to be. It's kind of like in the military. You come in the military, they break you all the way down and then they kind of build you up to what you want you to be. That's kind of similar to this. The coarse pad is going to break this down to, you know, that base level that you want to kind of build your foundation on. And then the soft sand kind of pretties that up a little bit. And then your buff and your polish kind of bring out that final product that you're looking for. So it's a weird analogy. Never thought I would use a military analogy with a JFJ video, but here we are. So get that off of there. Okay. Put that back. Put that down. Grab our JFJ buffing pad here. Put that on. Now we boom, 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 boom. Hit our pad. Hit our disc, sorry. Put that there. And then 1 minute. We always buff for 1 minute and then we polish for 2. That's kind of how I always do it. When I'm dealing with really bad discs. Now, if you're dealing with a disc that say is already in good condition and you want to bring it to great condition, sometimes you can just polish it. Run maybe a 1 minute polish. Sometimes you can get away with a 20-second polish. All depends on how good the disc is that you're starting with. And it's kind of hard to relay that over in a video of where you should always start, because every disc is different. Every condition of a disc can change, whether it's a 20-second, 1 minute, 2 minute, maybe even a 10-second polish. You know, it could be just a polish, could be a buff and then a polish. It could be a 10-second buff, 20-second polish, and you're fine. You just kind of feel that out. The more you use the machine, the more you deal with these discs. You kind of start to understand, like by looking at it through past experiences, where a good place is to start from. And I always say, if you ever have two options you're looking at, where one is a little more aggressive and the other one is a little least aggressive, and you can't really think of where you should start, always start with the least aggressive first, because you can always come back to the more aggressive one afterwards if you don't get the outcome you're looking for. So that's done. We're gonna switch over to our polish pad. Again, we don't need to do anything, no wiping between these two stages. Boom, put that down in 2 seconds. Okay, 2 minutes is up. Oops, to make me another one of those gaskets soon. That's the fault. Oh, drop that. Let's see, get our spray. All right, that off. Bring our towel over here. Okay. That should be good. Just wipe off the front. Sometimes some of the product will sneak around to the front edges of the disc. Bring you guys in. You see, still Jack and Dexter. Let's see here. Bring y'all in. You can see, so for a good before and after, you still got a little bit of scratching over there. But, I mean, like I said, we all kind of remember what this disc looked like beforehand, and you guys can see it now because obviously it's both up on the screen. But, you know, this is definitely a good, like, 90 to 95% of what this disc would look like. Obviously not taking into account the center portion of the ring, because there's nothing you can do about that. Like, you're not buffing that area at all. So there's nothing you can do. The damage done to the center of the disc is just there. It's not a readable part of the disc, so it really doesn't matter. But besides that, I would say, you know, that's really great results using the JFJ pads. Everything here in this whole process, from the coarse, soft, buff to the polish, that's all JFJ products right there. The only difference is we're using the 3D line of compound and polish, which I believe actually helps make these pads really shine. Like getting a finish like that, easily you can sell this disc. Like, this is a sellable disc. What I will do is I'm going to keep this disc right now. I'm going to put it in the case, and we'll actually test this disc out, and we'll test out the Grand Theft Auto 3 disc over here that we're going to run through with the 3D line, and we'll test them back there. I think I have a PS2 back there, or that, I think that PS3 is actually a back compat one, but we'll figure it out. So we're going to sit these over here, and then we're going to run them through just to make sure the disc reads, starts up, things like that. Because that's usually, you know, the next question people have is like, okay, it looks great, but does it actually work? Because a lot of times people have those issues where they can get a good looking disc, and then all of a sudden it doesn't read, it doesn't play, it doesn't matter. Now all you have is a pretty looking coaster. But, so we'll take this one out and bring you guys in. This is another very rough disc, as you will see. So you can see here, this disc is also really bad. It's had many good days, none of them are today. But yeah, so this is another one. We would start with a coarse all the way up through a soft sand, buff, and polish stage, and then, you know, see what we can get. So let's go ahead and stick that on. Try to speed this process up a little bit, because nothing's going to change. Everything we did with the previous disc is going to be redone here. The only difference will be, of course, that now we're going to use the 3D line of pads instead of the JFJ. So 10 second. Same thing. After the 10 seconds up, we're just looking for a nice, smooth, uniform finish after the course cycle. That's what you're looking for. If you see any scratches, you might want to go another 10 seconds. So that looks good. We don't have any scratches. You don't actually, you don't actually have to take it down. What I should have done was actually clean off that dang middle part, but it'll be fine. So we have that. And because right now there's like still product in there. I don't like that, but we'll make it work. So go to our soft sand stage. Again, 20 seconds. Can't wait to wash my hands. I usually wear gloves when I'm doing this stuff just because I hate the product and all the compound sitting on my hands because it dries my hands out. It gets all into my nails and looks horrible. So, but all right, we're gonna take that off just because I'm gonna kind of try to clean this up a little bit if I can. Even though now I'm about to just introduce freaking more compound to it, so in a way it doesn't really matter. But let's get that off. But yeah, okay, so that should be pretty good. Put that back on there. Oops, well, it doesn't matter. It's about to have compound on it anyway, so having a little bit sitting on the disc won't hurt nothing. Tighten that down, that up, set our soft sand there. Come in with our purple pad right there. Now we hit our disc with the water. Boom. There, and now I will do I'll do a side by side with the one what it looked like before we did the cycle, but two, I'll also show it against the finished product of the JFJ pads. And that's why I mean, like, in all honesty, I feel like using the 3D polish and compound with the JFJ products really is like that sweet spot when it comes to price and performance, or price and just quality, you know, that you get from using it, I guess. So quality of the results. You know, you get the cheaper pads, even though you're spending more on the polish and the compound. You get to save that money on the pads, and you still get really good results, even starting with a horrible disc like Jack and Dexter. Jack and Dexter was terrible, and we were able to bring it at least to 90% of what it would be brand new in case. So that's why I feel like that's probably the best way to go about it for a lot of people, because it doesn't break your budget, but it still gives you like solid results that you would feel comfortable selling it to people or offering it, you know, on an online marketplace, kind of like I do with Walmart. So now I'll put that on there. We'll go 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes up. Trying to make sure I get a good clean wipe on here, because like sometimes, like I said, you can wipe and then you'll notice, like, just like wiping that one area, it'll be like, oh, you know, now you've introduced little smudging other places, and it can look like scratches, but it's really not a scratch. All right, that's probably good enough. I think this will give like a good look at what I mean by, I do think these pads are better. I don't think they're $30 a piece better. So, but you guys can be the judge. You can see there's definitely still some scratching in here. Now this was a bad, very bad disc. And now it's in a lot better condition than what it was. But again, is it $30 per pad? Condition better? I don't believe so. So that's why I said, like, you know, even though these are good pads, if you really like the finishing pad, you might be able to say, okay, I'll use a JFJ buff pad and then use the 3D polish pad. But, you know, even for really bad discs, you know, I would say that using the 3D products, the compound and the polish with these pads probably are going to be your sweet spot. So, all right, we're going to take this, we're going to put this in here. Then we're going to go back here, and we're actually going to test them out, see if both of these still work. Here's Jack and Dexter. And put that in. Oh, there we go. So it does read. I don't know if I have a PS2. I should have a PS2 controller around here somewhere. many controllers as I have. Okay, this is aftermarket one, but hey, it's good enough. All right. Guess we have no sound. Make sure that. Okay, there we go. So just TV was down. But yeah, so the game starts up. You know, perfectly fine. I don't know how much of this is just loading, and it's weird because it's like off center, but that's probably because of the TV. Yeah, so we know that one works. We will actually reset it. So Jack and Dexter, which did the sanding all the way up through the JFJ buff and polish, checked out good. Now this one, the one that went the 3D route. Let's see if this one will read. Sounds like something's happening. There we go. So they they both read, so that's good. Well, we'll make sure. Okay, we got our boom. Hear that noise? That old school laser movement. But yeah, so looks like both of them checked out. They were both horrible discs, so we were able to make them both sellable, which is great. Actually probably end up listing both of these. This one will probably get listed as good just because it does come obviously with the case game. Even though it does come with the original artwork, that disc is not something I would sell as like new just because it's a very good looking disc. There's still some scratches on the back. I just don't like listing those as like new. So this will just be a complete in box, good condition. And Jack and Dexter will probably be good condition as well, even though it doesn't have the manual. I usually do fair for disc only. All discs, if they're in bad condition, they get resurfaced. But if it's fair, you're probably just getting the disc. There's pictures of everything, so you know if it's disc only. 9 times out of 10, if it's fair and it's a disc game, you're getting disc only. In a jewel case, good means you're getting the original case plus the game. Possibly you could get the manual. Just depends on how the game looks. If the game still has minor little scratches on it, it's going to be good, complete in box. Like new means that the disc has a mirror finish, has the and is complete in box. So that's how I kind of justify it, so to speak, or determine what my quality will be. I do like selling on good for the most part because it gives me a nice buffer. And normally it's not that much of a price difference between like new and good, you know, and it's kind of less of a headache to just sell under good. Oh man, I remember first playing this game. This was like groundbreaking back then. Now it looks like just utter trash. Maybe mostly because like I probably don't have the PlayStation set for like component cables and stuff like that. But that's not what we're doing in this video. Am I missing something? Yeah, I'm missing a button. That's why. But yep. So we can close that down. We could turn our PlayStation 2 Slim Silver Edition off. And we have 2 working games. So, yeah. So hopefully video helped you guys. At the end of the video, or the synopsis or the conclusion of all this is use these 3D products. I use the AAT 501 and the ACA 520. These are these are actually step 1 and step 2 of 2 different product lines that 3D has. So what I would recommend is actually using the ACA line. You can see on the back here that step 1 is actually ACA 500. Step 2 is this one, which is ACA 520. I love it because both of them, you know, they do a great job. So this one does as well. You can mix and match if you want. It doesn't really matter. I did it by accident, but I still get great results, so it doesn't matter to me. But if you're gonna go out and get it, I don't see why you wouldn't get step 1 and step 2 of the same product line. So that's the only thing to go off on this. Pads, good, just overpriced for the finish you get. It's just not better or that much better than the JFJ pads with the 3D compound and polish to me. So again, hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Hopefully this video helps or just gives you a little bit more information when it comes to using this machine. Working on some other stuff and hopefully get some videos out more now that the holiday season is has kind of concluded, and I should have some more time. So as always, thanks for supporting the video, and leave any comments down here if you want to discuss anything. Anyone who's ever left a comment knows that I try my best to make sure I engage with anyone who has any questions, you know, regarding the video or maybe even other videos I've done. Try to always comment back to you guys. One thing I like about the channel being small is that engagement is a lot easier to have those one-on-one conversations in the comments. So feel free to leave a comment, ask any questions you have. If I can answer it, be glad to answer it. If I can't, I'll tell you, sorry, I really don't know. So, but again, thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.